Welcome to Backstage 421, the musicians only podcast, with your host, author, and music lover, Charles Campbell. Charles will have an awesome array of guests from many genres of music, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. By the way, Ray Mattis is the composer of this awesome intro music.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Season 3 of Backstage 421, the Musicians Only podcast. I'm your host, small-town author Charles Campbell. I have a very special guest today. I found her music through social media. I saw an Instagram ad one day, and I got a free CD, and I was like, oh, wow, she's amazing. So I bought some other stuff, and she agreed to join us for the season premiere of Season 3. She agreed to join us today. Thank you so much, Liz Longley. I'm so happy to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad we connected, and I'm so happy to be here.
Well, I'm super happy that you're here. And before we get with the Q&A and the casual conversation, if you could give my listening audience a little background on yourself, tell us who you are and, how you came into the music industry.
Yeah, so I'm originally from outside of Philly, and I grew up in a really musical household. My grandfather was an Army band leader, and my dad grew up around music, so he ushered my brother and I into music loving, and I've been playing music since I was 8 years old. And my dad was a jazz musician, so I grew up playing with his jazz band and wanted to be a jazz singer until I fell in love with Joni Mitchell, and then I wanted to be a songwriter. And my parents helped. They agreed to let me go to college for music and songwriting, so I've been a songwriting nerd for a long time, and music has been my full-time job ever since. I've been really lucky, and I tour the country playing my music. And I'm independent now. I'm based out of Nashville, Tennessee, and I play like Americana folk pop.
Oh yeah, and I've listened to some of it, and like I said, I got the free CD from an ad. I think correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was this one because I ordered a couple more afterwards. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. And not only did she send me a free CD, she sent me such a nice personalized little note. I don't know if this is the one that went with that, but it got the little card and the little note, so that was sweet. So I appreciated all that. So that is super cool, and you're amazing.
Oh,
so
thank you.
I love your voice. I think you're a super talent. So when you were coming up, I looked up, your library, and I see that you have 8 records out there. 9, I think, with this guy.
Yes.
So we have the brand new record called New Life, which is we're going to talk about today. But before we get into that, who were some of your influences coming up, and why? You talked about your dad just a little bit, but who were some of your influences musically coming up that made you really want to do this?
Yeah, Joni Mitchell was when the flip was switched, or the switch was flipped. I just fell in love with her record Blue and the way that she writes songs, and then I became a huge Paula Cole fan. I loved the passion and the fierce way she delivered her songs, and Eva Cassidy is one of my all-time favorite singers. And then I loved a band called the Weepies. They were one of my favorite bands in the early days, and I would say those are the main people that inspired me. And I grew up listening to a ton of different music. I grew up listening to 90s country. My mom and I wanted to be the Judds, and I have a younger brother who was listening to all the cool stuff. So I grew up always surrounded by all kinds of different music, and jazz, like I said, is one of my loves. So I moved down to Nashville, and obviously there's a lot of country music here, and so you'll hear a little bit of that in some of my music. But I'm always open to all different kinds of inspiration, and I think that the new record shows that too. I've got some songs that I don't even quite know how to classify them, but I just love writing songs that hopefully relate to people in some way or another.
Well, it certainly does. The new record is amazing. And like I said, she has quite a library. Liz has a library at lizlongley.com. If you go check it out, she has a place where you can purchase physical media, which I'm a big fan of. I love having something in my hand I can put on a record player and a CD player. So thank you for that. That's pretty awesome. You've been doing this for a while. You know, your library goes back to 2008, so
Yeah.
you've been plugging at it really, 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 really hard. So, you know, I appreciate you being out there and showing the world your talent. One name that really piqued my attention very quickly was Paul Moak.
Do you know Paul?
I don't know Paul, but I've heard of Paul. A lot of people have heard of Paul. So that
Yes.
name grabbed my attention very quickly. So tell me how you got involved with Paul, because I noticed that he's also produced this new record that you have out. Tell me how you guys
Yes.
connected and what it was like working with Paul.
Yeah. So, gosh, we connected in 2018, I believe it was. And I just heard his name through the music scene in Nashville. He's produced a ton of records for artists here. And I think the one that really got me interested was he produced a record for Caitlin Smith, who I love. And there was so much magic in those songs that he produced for her. And so I reached out. I believe it was through his website where I messaged him, and he just wrote back such a kind message, and automatically I was like, oh my gosh, this is such a nice guy. And I played him some of my songs that I was considering putting on that record. This was way back in 2017 or 18, so I was getting ready to make a record called Funeral for My Past. And the songs that he resonated with, I just started realizing, oh, this is a guy who like seems to already get me as an artist. You know, this song's not too out there for him. He seemed to gravitate toward the ones that were really special to me. So we started working together, and I knew right away like it was just going to be an amazing experience, and it was from start to finish. He produced Funeral for My Past, and then he did 2 EPs for me, the Funeral for My Past acoustic EP. We did a Christmas EP, and then my new record, New Life, he produced as well. And he played the list of instruments that Paul played on the record is hysterical. It's like 30 instruments.
Wow.
He does everything.
Well, he has an impressive studio called the Smokestack in Nashville.
Yes.
And were you able to work in the Smokestack?
Yes, we always worked at the Smokestack, yeah.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
now Paul's on the road. He's the guitar player for Heart. So
Oh, wow.
he's out there rocking these giant venues, and just it's so cool to see. So he does it all.
Well, that's cool. So you're you're definitely going in the right direction working with that guy, because he's produced a lot of great things, and he's a 5-time Grammy nominee. So you've hitched your wagon to a good dude.
For sure.
For sure. So let's talk about New Life a little bit.
Sure.
I've listened to it a few times now. I have a record player over here. I play it the old-fashioned way. 3 songs stick out in my brain immediately, and then they're all great. So don't get me wrong, but I want to talk about 3 songs particularly. The song "Start Again," that kind of stuck out in my head when I heard it the first couple of times. I do know you have a music video coming out for that very soon.
Yes.
Tomorrow, April 10th.
Tomorrow.
All right, April 10th. This is going to air on April 11th, so it'll air one day
Okay,
after.
it'll be out.
It'll be aired one day after the video is out, so check it out. But talk to me about "Start Again" and how that came to be. How did you write that song? I know you wrote most of the songs
Yes.
in your record, but so tell me how that piece of work came into your head.
Yeah, I co-wrote that song with a writer here in Nashville named Isaac Fox. It was our first time writing together. And this groove and this unique chord progression kind of felt like it landed in our laps. And I had never written anything in that vein before. So I was immediately like, this is so magical. And we wrote this song about wanting to reignite a love. And I loved singing this song. I would test it out on the road, and it just really felt great to sing and share. But ultimately, it didn't find a place on my record because it just wasn't the right message for what I was creating. So I wrote this like 8 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And then, yeah, it's been around a while. And I have this Patreon community that I love and trust. And so every month on Patreon, I share an unreleased song. And in doing that, like I get to like kind of dig through the depths of my iPhone voice memos and find these songs that haven't been released. And this is one that I shared, and the reaction was so strong. And people were like, you have to release this song. So they kind of helped me realize that it deserved a place on this new record. And with this new record, I felt like it really fit in messaging wise. It's all about like this new phase of my life and you know how it changes my relationship with my husband and myself and the world around me, and so it fit in really well. So we finally recorded it, and I just love how it turned out. Like my favorite moment on the whole record, I think, is the guitar solo that Paul does in that song. It's insane. It's an insane solo.
Yeah, that song really jumped out to me because it was a little different. It wasn't, you know, it had a different sound, and I was like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. Love that song.
Thank you.
Loved all the songs, but whenever I listen to an album for the first couple of times, a few songs just jump out at me. The other one that kind of jumped out at me was 100 Times.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm very lyrically driven when I listen to music. Now, I listen to all kinds of music, so I'll listen to hip-hop and jazz, and Sade's one of my favorite artists of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of run the gamut. But I like songs that tell stories, so... and you're very lyrically driven. I can tell by the songs, and I hear the stories that you're saying. Kind of go through the same drill with me with 100 Times. How did that come to you? And let my audience know what that song was about. It was a pretty cool song.
Yeah, this is the only breakup song on the whole record. It's kind of an homage to my past.
I kind of figured.
I'm like, every other record is like doused in breakup songs. This one is the only one. And this one was sparked, oh my gosh, what a cool story. This incredible writer named Monet Maddox, we connected online in 2020, and we were just like, we got to write together when we can get together. And 2022 comes around, and we finally get the chance to write together. And she comes to me with a page full of ideas that I want to write these songs with you, which was such an incredible gift because she's got incredible ideas. And so we picked one to write that day, but there was one idea that just kept coming back at me, and it was her lyric, and it said, "You've broken my heart 100 times, I've mended it back again 99. And I was like, Monet, we need to write this song like ASAP. When can we get together? And at this time, I'm like about to have my daughter. Like I'm like, could go into the hospital any day. So I'm like, can we meet on Zoom? So we made a date to meet, and something came up for her, and she couldn't meet me on Zoom to write the song. So I'm like, well, I'm going to start chipping away at it right now because time's ticking for me. And we basically wrote the whole thing over text. Whenever she'd have a break, she'd be like, oh, no, yeah. And so I feel incredibly honored that she trusted me with that beautiful lyric. And so, yeah, we wrote that song together.
I think that's
Monet Maddox.
First story I've heard, and shout out to Monet. First story I've heard where a song was written via text message. I haven't heard that one before.
But it started in her beautiful creative mind.
Wow, that's amazing. And it's an amazing song. And the third song that really stuck out to me is the title track. New Life.
Wow.
So it's the name of the album, so it had to have some super significance for you. So tell us about New Life.
Yes. I had this idea for a song after my daughter came into my life, and I started feeling just a mix of both gratitude that I was so lucky to have this beautiful little girl, and also feeling so overwhelmed about the world that I brought her into. Like, you want everything to be perfect for your kid. You want it to be safe, and so I took this idea to my friend Ian Keegi because he was a new dad, and we'd written so many songs before together, but not in this like new parent phase that we were both in. And we both just felt like our hearts are just like wide open, like loving our kids and like, oh, I wish the world was perfect for them. And so we wrote this song together called New Life. And in the end, it is a hopeful song. It's just hoping that maybe our kids will be the change that the world needs, and everything will work out the way it should in the end. Just hoping for a better future.
Well, that's a great message, and new life is true when you have children. My wife and I have been married for 36 years, I think.
Wow.
And we have 2 kids, and I just gave my daughter away in November, and that was kind of like a full circle moment, you know.
Yeah.
So
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. I don't want to get all teary-eyed here, but it was an amazing experience, and the gift she gave me was something I'll treasure forever. Something personalized, and I'm staring at it right now. And if I stare at it too long, I'm gonna break down in tears on season 3, episode 1 of Backstage 421 podcast. Oh, geez. So with New Life, I've talked about three songs that really jumped out at me. Now, you as a songwriter, are there any in particular that you found, I don't know, uh, to be more of your baby? Is there a song or two on there that you gravitate toward that maybe is your favorite? Maybe.
I will say, like, every night when it comes time to sing Start Again, I like look forward to that moment because I love singing that song and telling that story. I would say the one that comes from the most like tender part of my heart was More Than Ever. I wrote that very soon. That was the first song I wrote after my daughter was born. So that one means a lot to me. But I also love So Good because I don't have many like happy, grateful songs that come around very often that I want to sing every night. And so it's nice just to have like a pep in my step when I get to sing that song. Because like I always joke that I built a career writing songs about my failed love life. And when this new phase of my life came around, I'm like, what am I even going to write about anymore? So I love just getting to sing a happy song. You know, it's nice just to have those in my life.
Have that in your repertoire, right?
Yes, exactly.
Now, I don't have every single album you've done yet. I'm going to get those eventually. I'll have to get the digital versions, and then I'll go. You've got an awesome bundle out there, and my boneheaded self, I went and ordered like these individual CDs, but she's got an 8-album bundle on her website. So if you want to get like most of her library minus New Life, you can get them all in one swoop and then pick up the new record at lizlongley.com. Just want to throw that out there because definitely want to finish that collection. You've done such a great job. My favorite song of yours that I've heard so far, outside of the New Life record, is another one I want to talk about. And it kind of hit me over the head when I was working one day. I just had you on my playlist, and Rescue My Heart came across. And
wow.
And I thought that song is, and I played it like 4 times in a row. I was like, this is so good. Tell me where that song came from. I'm always interested in songwriters and where these things originated.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love your love for songs. So this is the first song that I wrote with Ian Keegi that I wrote New Life with. And we were set up on like a blind co-writing session. There were 3 of us, and we were part of a camp where a lot of songwriters were like writing songs potentially for movies, shows, commercials, whatever. And we were given certain prompts, and ours was like, oh gosh, I can't even remember what ours was, to be honest. But I had this title, Rescue My Heart, and I brought it in. And Jody Marr was the lyricist on the session, and Ian is a producer, so he produces as he writes. So he's creating this soundscape, and we just that day built Rescue My Heart, like, and it just came to life. It was so exciting, and it very soon after got picked up, and it was on a lot of different shows, and so it's like my most streamed song. It has some crazy amount of million streams.
And I don't know which album it's on, if it's on any of your albums, but I'll have to pick that one up next because.
So that's the wild thing, is that the produced version that was on all the TV shows, it's only on streaming platforms. But the acoustic version I put out on a record called Weightless.
Okay.
And that's just me and the piano.
Well, I'll definitely have to check that out. But that song was so good, it slapped me over the head. I was like, wait a minute.
Thank you. That's so sweet.
So you're a touring musician. You're in the middle of a tour. I'm going to come to the show in Asheville in May. It's a Sunday. I forget which venue it was.
May 18th, I think it is.
Yeah, it's a Sunday in May. That's probably it. So I'll definitely be there. But tell me, if you have an interesting story or two. Touring musicians usually do. And I don't want to put you on the spot, but is there anything that sticks out to you from being on tour and playing in front of live crowds? I've always wanted to know how that feels. I'm a writer, so I don't play in front of live crowds or have any kind of interaction like that. How does it feel to you as a musician when you get out there and you feed off the crowd? And do you have any interesting stories from any tour stops?
Oh my gosh, it's the best feeling. It's what keeps me doing this, because I love the feeling of connecting with people. What I don't want to say without words, because I'm singing words, but like there's just this transaction of energy that is really beautiful, and I don't get that anywhere else in my life. Gosh, I've had so many I've have so many stories of my pants splitting open down the back before a show, like that the crowd saw. I mean, like, this is the craziest things. And just, I've been really lucky to play to so many wonderful people, and it's just like the dream job, That's the best part, that, you spend a lot of hours in the car. It's not glamorous at all. I basically live out of my minivan, but that hour and change getting to play for people is the best part. But nothing else specific comes to mind. Every night is a different thrill.
Well, I like to go to a lot of shows. I like to go to as many concerts as I can and am able to. So I do get the interaction, and depending on who it is, I try to get up front. And because you kind of you get that connection with the artist, and they're super genuine. And I can't wait to see you perform. I think it's going to be amazing.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, so do I. So I want to pick your songwriter brain a little bit.
Okay.
I write small town horror fiction, and I
Wow.
have a lot of authors on. I have another podcast that is completely different than this one. It's called Horror 421, the podcast, and I have horror authors. I have all kinds of people on the show, actors, directors. But anytime I talk to a person who creates, who writes, who does things like that, I'm always interested in their process. So whenever you're sitting down to tell a story with a song, because you tell stories just like I tell stories, what are some of your inspirations? What do you have, like a typical, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Do you have a typical routine that you go through when you're sitting down to write something?
Mm-hmm. I wish I did have it that dialed in, but honestly, the thing that usually sparks a song is, for me, it's not a melody idea or like a lyrical idea or a guitar or piano idea. It is having an overwhelming feeling and then needing to like put it to music. I'll just like grab my guitar and just that's when the magic happens. And it's kind of a wild thing. I don't know if you experienced this, but sometimes I don't even really remember the process of writing the songs. At least the songs that are the closest to my heart seem to just kind of appear, and then I'm like, what was that? and then I have like the happy song I was talking about on my record that I was like, I'm so glad to have a happy song. Well, I wrote that song over the course of 7 years because it did not just like land in my lap. I had to chip away at it and like keep changing it until I was like, okay, this is ready to go. But I always joke like the emotional ones take me about a glass of wine to finish the song. And then I'm like, okay, it's done. But no, I would just say that it always starts with an overwhelming feeling that I just want to process. And then if I get a line in that first like 30-minute window that I'm like, oh my gosh, that is how I feel, then I will chase that song down until it's finished. But I have plenty of unfinished ideas. I don't know if you have that same thing. Sitting around.
Yeah, I have a couple. And I'm not going to make this podcast about me, but I will tell a very quick story about inspiration. I wrote a book last year called The Piano Witch, and released it around Halloween. And I got the idea from a young lady on this podcast, on the Backstage 421 podcast. She's the lead singer of a group called French for Rabbits out of New Zealand. If you've never heard of them, go check them out. They are amazing, and she's an amazing lyricist. Her music is But anyway, she was telling me a story on this podcast. She said, when I was a child, I used to take piano lessons, and I used my father's piano, and I was always afraid when I was a little kid because in the grain of the wood, I could always see the image of a witch. And I was like, oh, crap, can I use that? And she said, yeah. And so I wrote a novel, and I gave her the credit, and that's just what you're talking about. You hear somebody or you hear something, and you take off with it. So it's crazy.
Yes, exactly. Oh, that's so cool.
But,
wow.
Yeah. This witch was actually trapped in the piano when she had to kind of try to use people to break the curse and get out. But
that's so crazy because I almost shared with you a story about something that happened on stage, and I didn't say it out loud, but I had a show where I was playing a grand piano, and as I'm playing it, the piano started floating away from me. And so as I'm playing it, I'm like, just like, and then after the song finished, I was like, what the heck just happened? And the people were like, this building is haunted. Like, that's what just happened. And they told me about this ghost that lives there. And anyway, I think it was the fact that the piano just wasn't locked. The wheels weren't locked. But we always joke. Yeah, it was the piano witch. There you go.
There you go. She was there. Oh, wow. All right. Well, Liz, I know you have things to do. I know you have family obligations to take care of, and I'm going to respect your time for sure. But I want everyone to go out to lizlongley.com, check out her new record, New Life, and like I said, pick up that 8-album bundle, or you can buy them individually. She also has them there that way, and she has other merchandise. So check that out. I'm going to be quiet for a couple of minutes. I tend to ramble, and I know I host a podcast, but I can't help it. I just can't shut up sometimes. My wife tells me that all the time. But I want you to plug away anything you want, where people can find you. I'm going to put links below so you guys can check it out. So I'll make sure I put links to her website or anything else she wants me to link up to. I'll make sure they're there. But I'm going to be super quiet right now and let you plug away.
Thank you. Okay, I'll say 2 things. One is I have this incredible Patreon community that anybody is welcome to join, and it's where I share all the behind the scenes. Every month I do a voicemail. I talk about what's been going on and off the road, and it's really fun. It's like my own little podcast, I guess. And then I also share unreleased songs and a cover song every month, and I sometimes do online shows there too. So it's a really special place. Come hang out, patreon.com/Liz Longley. The other thing I'll say is that I'm on tour from now till the end of the summer, so I'd love to see you at a show. I'm pretty much playing, the next show's in Nashville, but then it will be Columbus, Missouri, Asheville, all over the place. So come see me and say hello. I always love to meet new people.
Well, I'll definitely see you in Asheville. So
Yes.
I got a few CDs you can look at. I don't have the whole library, but we talked about this one a little bit. I've got this one.
It's me again.
It's her again. Yep. And I think this was the free one.
Inside this song, yes.
Yeah. Now, that was a super promotion, and I've seen other artists doing something similar. And I said I was going to let you go in a second, and I am. But how does that work out for you? I wonder all the time when I see all these, order a free CD, we'll just pay shipping. How has that been for you? Has that worked really well?
It's connected me with so many cool people. Like, this wouldn't have happened, if that weren't happening. I just started doing that, 6-7 months ago, I guess. I turn it off sometimes, but it's a really cool way to meet people that are, interested in learning new music or hearing new music. So it's been good for me. It's a lot of work, but it's fun.
Okay, cool. All right, well, I am your small town horror author, Charles Campbell. My latest release is called Signature Cut Above. It's about a batshit crazy beautician. So if you're into that, she does more than cut hair with those scissors. And later this summer, I have 3 Knocks coming out, and I printed this on my printer, so this isn't the best looking representation, but 3 Knocks is coming out later this summer. If you're interested in any of that stuff, go to valleyboypublications.com. All the links to my social media stuff is there, and links to the podcast, everything. So you can listen to, subscribe to Backstage 421, the Musicians Only podcast, and Horror 421, the podcast. So check me out, and thank you again, Liz. I'm going to let you have the last word as we close out the show.
Thank you for doing what you do as a writer, as a podcaster, as a music lover. It means a lot. So thanks for being such a great supporter of the arts, all in all.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you next
Thanks,
time on Backstage 421, the Musicians Only podcast.
We hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Backstage 421, the Musicians Only podcast. Be sure to tune in for the next episode. Please like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Listener support links can be found below. Thank you for your support.